What does it mean if your hands are always cold? If you're someone who has dealt with cold hands, regardless of the time of year, then you may have asked this very question. If that's you, then you're in the right place. I'm here to answer that question in today's video, so let's get started. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, we're going to discover what it actually means if your hands are cold all of the time. And ultimately, is this something that you need to be concerned about? Then I'm going to share with you the top expert tips for warming your hands quickly and keeping them warm. And finally, I'll be sharing with you the underground method for handling frigid hands once and for all. Traditional medicine can't touch this one thanks to the standard of care. Let's dive on in. Are you ready to discover what it could mean if your hands are cold all of the time and if this is something you actually need to be concerned about? Let's dive on into that section. Sometimes having cold hands can simply just be because you're in a cold environment, right? A chilly room, or it's winter, you don't have appropriate, winter attire to help warm you. But you're here because that's not the only reason why you have cold hands, or that's not the only time you experience cold hands. Cold hands can be the sign of a more serious underlying health condition. There's several that go along with this, so determining if it's Raynaud's or if it's a circulatory issue or if it's anemia, if it's diabetes or like scleroderma, an autoimmune type of a problem, you can't just figure that out by knowing you have cold hands. And with how you handle those underlying health conditions is going to be different from person to person, even depending on what the condition is, if it's the same. So if you can't remedy your cold hands, and if it's something that everybody in your family seems to have, sometimes that can give you a little bit of insight, but oftentimes it's not. And it might be something that you should have further evaluated to make sure your body's not dealing with a bigger, underlying health problem. So I'm curious, did you know having cold hands could be more than just Raynaud's syndrome, that it could be a sign of a bigger health issue? Just comment your answer down below. I'd love to hear from you. As promised, I'm going to share with you the top expert tips for warming your hands quickly and keeping them warm. So let me get started on that whole list for you. One that's probably obvious to you is consider what kind of clothing you're wearing. And this is a strategy that you may have already put into place, but other things that maybe you didn't even think about because it's not your hands directly or your feet directly, but wearing a hat, especially in the colder environment, because we know heat escapes our head. So trying to hold the heat in from every angle possible would be very helpful. When it comes to clothing, considering layers and helping to keep your core warm, a scarf, a hat, a mittens, gloves, warm socks, all of these are things that can keep your blood that's circulating throughout your whole body warm, which will also then help to warm your hands quickly. Something that maybe you didn't think about is adding exercise in on a daily basis. This is helping stimulate your circulatory system and making it as healthy as it possibly can be. There's plenty of other benefits that come from doing this, but you can have a warming effect when you start getting your heart rate up and you're pumping your blood through your body. A key that I've seen amongst all the experts is that goes along with the exercise too, is just movement in general. So if you have a desk job or you're working from home and you find yourself that you're sedentary often, you need to take more frequent breaks and just get up and move, whether it's walking around or you're doing, maybe 10 jumping jacks each time you get up, which I would suggest maybe once an hour. There's going to be a lot more benefit that you're going to experience by doing this, in addition to warming up your hands. One you're probably also not a stranger to is using heating pads or, the hand warmers or foot warmers, soaking in a tub. Like just having extra warmth around you can help with warming those hands up super quick and the rest of your body as well. Now, before I get into the underground method for handling your frigid hands once and for all, I just want to take a moment to remind you to click that subscribe button down below, turn the notifications on, and hey, give me a big like while you're down there. I am producing videos for you regularly to help you solve any and all health issues and achieve what I like to call total body mastery. And I don't want you to miss out. So again, just click that subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and give me a big thumbs up. All right, are you ready for the underground method for remedying and handling these frigid hands once and for all? We have to be able to find and treat the cause. Now, as I was mentioning in the very first tip, like there's all these potential different underlying health conditions that could exist for you. And as I kind of alluded to, even if there are like 5 of you that are dealing with anemia and you all have cold hands, each one of you are unique individuals. And how anemia is handled for all 5 of you should be different and unique to you, because knowing that maybe it's anemia that caused it, or, it's some other circulatory problem, or it's diabetes or whatever, the way that is handled in traditional medicine is the same approach for everybody. But I take it a step further and ask the question like, well, how did you end up with the anemia in the first place? Or how did you end up with diabetes? What is the underlying cause of that health condition? It's not just enough to know it's the health condition that's probably creating the cold hands, but why do you have that health condition? Or maybe you don't even have a named diagnosis, guys, and that can be completely a true statement. But are there underlying imbalances and deficiencies? Maybe it's inflammation or a low-level chronic infection that you have no symptoms of. Maybe there's a toxicity issue. We won't know unless we can fully evaluate your whole health of all of you at once. When you can find and treat the underlying cause, or maybe there's a few causes as to why you're feeling the way that you do, you actually remedy the situation and you handle it once and for all. If you're wondering, like, what in the world does that mean? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen like a stain on the ceiling? Well, the way that traditional medicine handles our health issues is it would be like looking at that stain in the ceiling and just painting over it. Whether that's them giving you medication or, well, that's mostly what they do is give you medication, or like, hey, there's not really anything showing, so we're just going to see what this looks like in 6 months. Okay. It's painting over the stain in the ceiling. When I'm saying find and treat the cause, it's looking at the stain in the ceiling and going, aha, there's a leak somewhere. Pull back the layers of the ceiling, figure out where the leak is, patch the leak, and then, put your ceiling back in order. That is cause-based care versus symptom-based care. So you have to find and discover what the underlying cause is as to why you're feeling the way that you do. And then you'll be able to actually know how to handle it so you don't have to deal with frigid hands anymore. And if you're sitting there going, okay, that sounds really like that makes sense. That sounds great. How do I do that? I have the answer for you. Okay. All you need to do is go to the description below this video, click on it so it expands, scroll down, look for your access, the link for my health workshop. In that workshop, I teach you exactly how to determine what the cause is of your underlying problem. And then moving forward, once you know what the cause is, you'll know how to remedy it. There is a stepwise process for this. So that's why I put it in a workshop for you. It breaks it down. It makes it easy to digest. And by the end of the workshop, you'll know exactly how to determine what's causing your frigid hands and how to take care of that once and for all. I can't wait to see you on the workshop and on a future episode. I appreciate you greatly. I hope today was informative, and we'll see you again on a future episode. God bless.